This is a short video on grading options for POSC 3600. So the course requirements remain the same. Obviously, the due dates, some of the due dates have been extended. I made the final exam optional, so you can opt out because there's lots of people in class that are struggling to deal with the changes in their lives due to the pandemic. Some people are suddenly caring for children who are not in school, elderly parents or other family members who are ill, or are working more hours than normal because they're vital workers. And some people are ill themselves. So everybody's personal situation is different. Even if you're not in one of those situations, that upheaval of having to move home from school, the stress and worry over the pandemic, all of these things can make it hard to concentrate. If you're able to complete the exam, you may wish to do so if you think that you can really improve your grade over what you've done before and to maintain structure. But if you're dealing with upheaval and are unable to cope or focus on more than one thing at a time, you really don't need to do the exam. For our class, it's really only worth 20%. So the chances of it really making a big difference in your final grade is pretty slim. It would be different if the take home exam is worth 40%, say. Then maybe you could make up make make a difference in your final grade. So the way it will happen is if you opt out of the exam, your grade will be calculated out of the 80% already completed. So I would do the grade calculation out of 80 instead of out of 100. Okay. So that's the way that will be done. If you've submitted all the assignments up till now, then you really have completed the 80% of the course requirements, and you know there's not a huge difference in. There likely will not be a huge difference in terms of your grade if you don't do the exam. There may be some individual exceptions or differences based on your particular circumstance and the grades you received before. Maybe you were struggling the first time for the essay or the one of the other assignments, and you want to make sure that you do the best you can on the course. Then maybe you do the take-home exam. But I do want to give you the option just in case things are looking you're feeling like you're not going to be able to do the best job you can. Now, you're allowed to look at the exam questions and decide, and you'll know that I've tried to make it so that you can you really do the best you can on that the take-home exam. Okay? So the bottom line is if you're able to do the exam without losing your sanity or becoming too stressed out, then it might be in your interest to do so. But if things are just too stressful to do the exam, then you can still pass the course. And on the question of the university has given us a pass-fail option, and so I'll talk about that in a second too. Offered. Now, this is a temporary amendment to the university's grading policy. They don't usually allow us to do this, but they've implemented it. The professors have advocated very hard to have this option for students. And it's to deal with the increased stress levels due to the pandemic and the sudden transition to online learning. So now you have a choice that you as an individual can make on a course by course basis. So your choice is first you can choose. Oh, and I should say you make this decision after you receive your final grade. So after May 1st. So you get your final grades. They should be released about May 1st, and you can choose to just keep the grade that's been assigned. So you accept your final course letter grade, and you have it appear on your transcript. It gets calculated in your GPA and everything. Or if your grade is a D or higher, so you pass the course, but you don't want that low grade to impact negatively on your GPA, your grade point average, then you can receive credit for the course, so you can get a pass on the course without getting a letter grade. And what this means is that your D, if that's what it was, does not impact your cumulative GPA. The key thing here is there'll be a form coming from the registrar's office, and you have to complete this form by May 6th. So that's really important. Otherwise, you'll if you do nothing, you end up with your letter grade that's been assigned to you. One of the key things, if you are in the position of needing to improve grades because your GPA is low, so you need to improve your grades so that you're not suspended or so that you're allowed to graduate. So if you're making, you need to meet your degree progression requirements, then the pass-fail option may not be for you. It's better in that case that you do complete all the course assignments to the best of your ability. So you need to be aware of that, and maybe you should consult with one of the academic advisors. The other key part to this new option is the fail option. Now, obviously, nobody's going to opt for a fail. So all this part does is if you do end up failing a course, the university will automatically withdraw you from the course. So that it means that on your transcript you get a W that says you withdrew from the course, but there's no impact on your GPA. You don't get a fail, all of that stuff. Okay. So this is a really good thing for those of you who all of a sudden got sick and you haven't been able to do anything, or you haven't been able to communicate with your professors or something like that. This happens, surprisingly, especially in these big classes where people all of a sudden disappear from class, or they never submit anything, or things like that. And those people would normally fail. So this means that in this scenario, you are automatically withdrawn from the course, and so you end up with a W instead of an F on your transcript, which is a good thing. So, like I said, if you suddenly get sick and you are unable to communicate with your professors and don't finish the assignments, then you can know that you're not going to be penalized by a fail grade on your transcript. I think those are the key things for this pass-fail option. There are some important notes. I think I've covered the main things here. So you can choose this pass option if you get a letter grade of D or higher. If you fail, you're automatically withdrawn from the course. You're not allowed to appeal a pass grade. So if you opt for this pass grade, you can't do appeals. And you do have to submit this form by May 6th in order to get this option. So those are the notes that are provided by the university. There's probably more information, or there may be more information on online.